Movie buff from early childhood. I saw my first movie when I was like 6 years old. It was King Kong.
It's not her fault. It's the period. It's upsetting to watch. Tell you the truth.
It shouldn't be that way because somebody did make money.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to All-Star Buzz as we dive into today's highlights. Morgan Freeman spoke with raw honesty. When I was a kid, we didn't see ourselves, and if we did, it wasn't as the hero, he began, his voice echoing through the studio. His words carried undeniable weight, capturing the audience's full attention. The hosts sat motionless, their usual quick remarks replaced with silent awe. Freeman continued saying, representation wasn't just rare, it was absent. And when black characters did appear, they were often reduced to stereotypes or sidekicks, without agency or depth. His tone remained steady, every word intentional, every statement powerful. The room stayed quiet except for his voice. Even Whoopi Goldberg, a legend herself, seemed taken aback by the direction Freeman was steering the conversation. But he wasn't just pointing to the past. Freeman brought the issue into the present. Decades have passed and the problem hasn't vanished. It has only shifted, he said. Turning to Sunny Hostin, he addressed her earlier remarks on black narratives in the media. You talked about black battalions and their contributions. Freeman started with unwavering conviction. But do you understand how rarely that story is told? How many young people today remain unaware of the black soldiers who fought and sacrificed for this nation? Sunny started to reply, but Freeman gently raised his hand. With no disrespect, this isn't about one project or one person, he explained. This is about a recurring pattern in a system. It's about how generations have been deprived of knowing the full scope of our collective history. The audience hung on to every word, their faces reflecting a mix of respect and unease. This wasn't the conversation they had expected, but it was one they couldn't ignore. Freeman continued, transitioning seamlessly into further discussion.
I had a question, but we run out of time. Listen, this is extraordinary, this documentary.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Making all the...
Freeman shifted the conversation toward Hollywood's role in maintaining these gaps in storytelling. Movies and TV shape how we see ourselves and each other, he explained. But when stories are told through only one perspective, what happens to everyone else? What happens to the kids who never see themselves as the hero, the leader, the one who saves the day? His words were both a criticism and a plea urging Hollywood and society to strive for better. This isn't about charity, it's about justice, Freeman declared, his voice gaining intensity. Telling the truth isn't a favor, it's a responsibility. The energy in the room was electric. The crowd erupted into spontaneous applause, not the polite kind, but the kind born from genuine agreement. Even the hosts, who usually steered discussions back to lighter topics, recognized the significance of the moment. Whoopi finally spoke. Morgan, you're absolutely right, she said, nodding slowly. This is the kind of conversation we need to be having, not just here, but everywhere. Freeman smiled, his calm demeanor returning. It's not about me being right. It's about figuring out how to fix it, he said. And that begins with telling the truth. All of it. What started as a typical celebrity interview transformed into a powerful reckoning. Freeman redirected the focus from himself to larger issues, ones far more important than any Netflix series. By the time the segment ended, the audience stood in a rare show of unity, applauding with heartfelt emotion. As the cameras cut to commercial, the impact of Freeman's words lingered. However, the online reaction was swift and fierce. Social media was flooded with comments accusing The View of prioritizing a sanitized narrative over meaningful discourse. Many questioned if a legend like Morgan Freeman couldn't fully express himself on such a platform, what hope remained for authentic conversations elsewhere. One viral tweet summed it up. Morgan Freeman brought facts and history, but The View wasn't ready for a masterclass in truth. They silenced him because he disrupted their comfort zone. The post gained thousands of retweets and likes in mere hours. Clips of the segment spread rapidly across platforms with captions like "Freeman schools Hollywood in 5 minutes," and "When the truth hits too hard for live TV." The moment had risen beyond the usual morning talk show discussions, becoming a cultural turning point. Freeman's fans stood firmly by his side, praising his grace and courage. He spoke truth to power with a dignity only he could deliver, wrote one admirer on Facebook. Another commented that this wasn't just an interview, it was a lesson in accountability. But not everyone shared this sentiment. Critics of Freeman defended the hosts, arguing that The View wasn't wrong to try steering the discussion. They claimed daytime TV wasn't the right stage for such weighty topics, and that Freeman's remarks, while impactful, didn't align with the show's lighter format. This divide only fueled the controversy further. News outlets quickly picked up the story with headlines like Morgan Freeman sparks debate on Hollywood's role in history, and was The View right to cut Freeman off? The discussion shifted beyond Freeman's appearance, evolving into a broader conversation about censorship, media responsibility, and the narratives society chooses to prioritize. Freeman himself remained silent amidst the uproar. His signature style, he refrained from releasing statements or public comments, allowing the moment and its message to resonate on their own. However, insiders from the show disclosed that the decision to cut the segment wasn't entirely unplanned. According to one source, producers grew uneasy with the direction the conversation was taking and worried about losing control of the narrative. This revelation only deepened the debate, with critics accusing the show of valuing appearances over authenticity. Meanwhile, Freeman's words continued to inspire. Teachers shared clips with students, sparking discussions about representation and untold histories. Activists used his statements to highlight systemic gaps in Hollywood and beyond. What had begun as an interview to promote a Netflix series had transformed into a call for action that could no longer be ignored. In the days following the incident, The View faced mounting pressure to respond. Viewers demanded accountability, with hashtags like "Let Freeman Speak" trending widely. Some called for an apology, while others urged the show to create a follow-up segment to dive deeper into the issues Freeman had raised. Whether intentional or not, Morgan Freeman achieved something extraordinary. He used his platform not just to entertain, but to challenge and educate. In doing so, he reminded everyone that the most powerful stories are often the ones that make us uncomfortable. His words had ignited a wider conversation that extended beyond the realm of daytime TV. Social media became a hub of debate, with hashtags like "Freeman Speaks Truth" and "Unfinished History" trending for days. Freeman's remarks pushed audiences to rethink how they consume media, how they view history, and why diverse representation in storytelling matters. Educators and historians joined the discussion, citing Freeman's statements as a turning point for addressing overlooked contributions of Black individuals in history. One historian, in a now viral TikTok, stated Freeman wasn't just talking about movies. He was exposing systemic erasure. We need more voices like his in mainstream media. Fans also shared personal stories about how Freeman's roles in documentaries had changed their perspectives. One touching tweet read, "Morgan Freeman gave me the courage to embrace my heritage. His work taught me that my history is worth knowing." Despite the overwhelming support critics stood by, The View's decision, arguing the show's primary purpose is entertainment, not social commentary. "It's a morning talk show, not a university lecture," wrote one media analyst. Yet this defense failed to quiet the growing demand for depth and responsibility from mainstream platforms. Even Hollywood figures joined the conversation. Several actors and filmmakers voiced their solidarity with Freeman, calling for more honesty and inclusion in storytelling. A prominent director tweeted that Morgan Freeman is absolutely right. Hollywood needs to do better. It's not just about telling stories, it's about telling the truth. For Freeman, each moment adds a new chapter to a career shaped by boldness and conviction. Throughout his journey, he's leveraged his influence to amplify voices, challenge societal norms, and advocate for change. Whether narrating documentaries about humanity's collective past or raising his voice on urgent social issues, Freeman has always put truth ahead of comfort. His latest appearance was no exception. His time on The View wasn't simply a promotional opportunity for his latest project. It served as a powerful reminder of why his voice matters. Freeman didn't just question Hollywood or the hosts. He called on everyone watching to step up, to demand more, and to critically examine the stories we consume and the history we hold. Following the episode, producers of The View released a carefully crafted statement acknowledging Freeman's valid points, while attributing the abrupt ending of the segment to time limitations. To many, it felt like an afterthought, but Freeman? He chose silence. His message had already been delivered with clarity. As the conversation sparked by his words spread across social media, classrooms, and boardrooms, one thing became clear. Freeman's influence goes beyond a single interview. He's not merely an actor or narrator, but a storyteller who has the power to drive change. In a world craving authentic voices, Freeman remains a beacon of truth, representation, and progress. Freeman's time on The View was more than a typical TV moment. It was a cultural wake-up call. His ability to combine grace with purpose turned a routine celebrity chat into a crucial discussion about the media's role in shaping society. Freeman didn't just talk to entertain. He used the platform to educate, provoke thought, and challenge the very medium he was engaging with. The contrast between his profound insights and the host's attempts to redirect the conversation to safer, lighter topics highlighted a larger issue: the limitations of mainstream media when dealing with tough, uncomfortable subjects. Viewers were left pondering the real mission of daytime TV. Should these shows remain shallow spaces for entertainment, or could they evolve into platforms for serious conversation? For many, Freeman's calm but sharp critique represented the kind of genuine discourse that is sorely missing in today's media landscape. Audiences voiced frustration not just at the abrupt end of his segment, but at the deeper implications of a media system ill-prepared to handle difficult truths. Conversation spilled over onto social media, where fans and critics alike analyzed the missed opportunity. Some argued that shows like The View have a responsibility to rise above the superficial, especially when featuring voices like Freeman's. Others defended the format, suggesting it wasn't meant for such in-depth discussions. But regardless of perspective, one thing was clear: Freeman had struck a chord. His words didn't just hit home, they lingered, sparking ongoing dialogue in living rooms, schools, and boardrooms across the country. What makes Freeman so impactful is his ability to highlight systemic issues without descending into cynicism. He doesn't just point out problems, he calls for action. By urging Hollywood to tell more balanced, inclusive stories and encouraging audiences to question the media they consume, Freeman reaffirmed his place not just as a storyteller, but as an agent of change. This moment also illuminated the power of individuals who refuse to bow to convention. Freeman's appearance on The View reminded everyone that real cultural progress isn't born from silence or compromise. It's the result of pushing boundaries, asking tough questions, and challenging the status quo, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. In the days following the broadcast, the conversation didn't die down. Clips of Freeman's comments were shared widely, with many praising his eloquence and courage. Calls for more diverse voices on mainstream platforms began to grow, as people recognized the media's responsibility to reflect the complexities of the world it serves. True to his nature, Freeman didn't engage in the ensuing controversy. He didn't issue follow-up statements or fuel the fire. His message had already been made, and it was clear for all to hear. Instead, Freeman's silence spoke volumes, a powerful reminder of his belief in truth over spectacle. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: Morgan Freeman's legacy is not defined solely by the characters he's portrayed on screen. It's the change he inspires off-screen. His appearance on The View wasn't just another television moment. It was a rallying cry for the media to evolve, for audiences to demand more, and for society to see storytelling as a catalyst for progress. The question now isn't whether Freeman made an impact. His influence is undeniable. The real question is whether the media and its viewers will rise to meet the challenge he posed, or will this be another missed chance in the ongoing battle? For truth and representation, Morgan Freeman's legacy has always transcended his on-screen roles. It's about the depth, authenticity, and wisdom he brings to every conversation, every performance, and every stage he steps onto. His time on The View wasn't just a fleeting TV segment. It was a powerful reminder of why his voice resonates so deeply with audiences worldwide. Freeman's calm yet commanding presence transformed what could have been just another talk show appearance into a moment of profound cultural significance. He didn't shy away from tough subjects or tailor his words to fit the usual daytime TV formula. Instead, Freeman used his platform to challenge entrenched narratives, confront biases, and encourage self-reflection. The abrupt end to his segment left more questions than answers. Viewers were left wondering if Freeman's unfiltered honesty was simply too much for the show to handle. Was the decision to cut him off truly a matter of time, or a way to avoid the uncomfortable truths he was sharing? Social media erupted with praise for Freeman as fans lauded his courage and authenticity. Many criticized The View for missing a golden opportunity to dive into a meaningful conversation. Others saw this moment as a reflection of a larger issue in the media: its reluctance to tackle real issues head-on and its over-reliance on shallow entertainment. Freeman's appearance wasn't just a viral sensation, it was a wake-up call. His candid commentary on Hollywood's selective storytelling and the erasure of black voices throughout history wasn't just a critique. It was a challenge for audiences to demand more, for society to face uncomfortable truths, and to start embracing conversations that drive us forward. What sets Freeman apart is his unwavering commitment to truth. He doesn't speak to provoke or seek the spotlight. He speaks to inspire change. His words carry weight, resonating across generations and transcending platforms. Whether narrating a documentary, acting in a film, or speaking live on television, Freeman's voice compels us to listen, reflect, and act. This moment on The View was no different. It served as a powerful reminder of the value of authenticity in an era of performative discourse. It also highlighted the need for spaces where real conversations can flourish, where guests like Freeman aren't cut short, but are allowed the time and respect their perspectives deserve. Freeman's legacy isn't just about his Hollywood achievements. It's about the enduring impact of his voice. He challenges us to see beyond the surface, question the narratives we've been fed, and strive for a more honest and inclusive understanding of history and culture. As the discussions sparked by his appearance continue to unfold, one thing remains clear. When Morgan Freeman speaks, the world listens. And in a time when so many voices are vying for attention, his ability to cut through the noise and speak directly to the heart of the matter has never been more vital. Now, the ball is in our court. Will we rise to the challenge Freeman set? Will we demand better from our media? Will we choose truth over convenience and continue pushing for progress? As Freeman reminds us, real change begins with real conversations. What do you think? Was Morgan Freeman's segment on The View a missed opportunity, or did it accomplish its goal by sparking this critical dialogue? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going.